In this video I will show you how to create a really simple 3D model out of the box for digital production with planar faces. If you have my 3D workspace DE 2017 installed, then you just go into Open and you just open the DE Studio Scene 3D Studio Max Mendelway. This is already a good setup for visualization. You just select your studio shape and right mouse click go to hide selection. And what you do next is you just go into create box, and we just want to create a box with in keyboard entry with a length of 10 centimeters, a length of 30 centimeters, a width of 30 centimeters, and a height of 10 centimeters. And I just go into create. Here we go. The next thing we do, we still have our box selected. I just go into this button, isolate selection toggle, so I can only see my 3D model. I just go into my left view. I just click the button P like perspective. I can also just change to perspective. Then I go into my viewport and just say zoom extend all. So here's my box, and I have my perspective selected and just say maximize viewport toggle. And this is my box, and I can just turn it around. And I just changed with my F3 page my default shading so I can see it properly, and I also use my F4 key to see my edges. Starting from now, we want to learn very few basic things and how to transform my cube. And what we first do is we want to change a little bit the topology of this cube. We can still do this in our create field. If you have unselected your cube, just select it again, and you just go into your modify panel, and here you can define the segments. Just see that this is the setting for length segments. So just go into 3, and you have your width segments, and you have your height segments. And I just want to see what kind of setting I use as my starting point. I have no idea what comes out of this whole thing, but I think this already looks quite good as a starting point for my transformations. Okay, after I looked at this for some seconds, I changed my parameters again to make it really simple. I changed it to a length of 30, width of 20, height of 10 centimeters, and only 3 segments in my length direction. The box is a simple primitive where you can change the parameters, which we already did. If you want to get into the topology and transform the polygons, you have to put an edit poly modifier on top, which I do right now. It has a hierarchy of vertex points, of edges, of polygons, and I want to select with my string key these 2 polygons, and I just want to extrude this. And you can just extrude this here in my menu of polygon. I just go into edit polygons. I just click on extrude, and I just see what this looks like, and I just extrude this to 10 centimeters. Here we go. In general, what I can do is I can just select now this surface and also extrude this. But what I did it in one edit poly. A lot of people do it like this. They do everything in one edit poly, but for me it's a little bit like in Photoshop. If you just go back, just deselect and just go back, and if you just add another edit poly on top, then you have the chance to use it a little bit like Photoshop, that you have one layer on top of each other. Now I select again this polygon, and if I now go again into extrude and, for example, enter 5 centimeters, something like this, then there's a big advantage that you can just swap these and you can switch your modifiers on and off. You can also change the order between this. In this case doesn't make much sense, but the advantage is that you have a much better control of your 3D model. That's why I just suggest use for every little step one additional modifier, and you have much more flexibilities in terms of modeling. I just add another edit poly on top. I just go into my polygon setting and I select this polygon and this polygon. And right now I showed you how to extrude it, but the only thing I can do, I can switch on and off my modifier. If I want to be able to change the parameters in the future, then I have to do one thing. I have to record what I'm doing, and you can just do it up in this menu and edit poly. You just go into animate. And if you use animate, then it's beginning more or less the same. I can just extrude this, for example, like this, again, a height of 10 centimeters. And the big advantage is that if you scroll up again, you have your settings, and in your settings you can still change the parameters in however you want it. And it's important, never close it with this X, always close it with confirm, otherwise you lose your option of your animation. And just that I did this, I just rename my edit poly and I just call it edit poly animate, because with this I can really, not animate by the way, edit poly, for example, extrude, extrude 2 polys, because then you can always go back and you just remember what you actually did with this operation. I just add another edit poly on top and I go again into animate. We already got used to this. I just go into polygon and just select this polygon, turn my 3D model and hold my string key and select this polygon. And another function which is quite handy is insert. I just go into insert and I can just make an insert like this, for example with 1.5 centimeters. Okay, and just because I used my animate, I can also change the parameters a little bit later. So I just click again and say right mouse click, edit poly, and I call this insert to polygons. Okay, what I want to do is I just want to connect these 2 polygons, and again I just add another edit poly on top, go into my polygons, and these 2 polygons are still selected because they're related to the polygons underneath. And in my edit poly there's a function which is called bridge. I just select this and you can just see that you can connect these 2 polygons. You can increase the amount of segments, you can make it bigger, you can make it thinner, you can move it wherever you want to have it. For me, I don't want to have, I want to have something really simple, like this. Move it probably a little bit, and with this I'm already fine. And I scroll up. This case I forgot to use animate, not so important for me right now, but next time I would have used it. I just call it edit poly and bridge. Okay, when I close all my the whole hierarchy, then you can see that I have my polygons named, and if I go into insert, for example, then it just gives me a warning that you probably, if you change something underneath, that it has an impact on the stuff above. I confirm there's nothing wrong about this in this case. And I now have my settings again. and I can just go into my settings and change my insert. Always see that you confirm it with this little arrow. And I can also go into extrude, because here we had the same, and I just can say, yes, settings, I want to make it higher, for example, like this, and I will see that I have clear values. There are also other things like Bevel. We have a look at this right now, and you can also add more lines into your 3D model. If I just go into edit poly and I just go into cut, then you see if you go over with your mouse that it just changes the mouse cursors, and you probably can have a cut from here to this part of my polygon. I just enter with finish it with right mouse click and just did a cut. You always have to deselect your function, and if I just go back, because I don't like that that it's not really straight in my 3D model. If I just go back, let's go some step back, I can go into my hierarchy and I just choose edges. I can just select this edge and this edge, and in terms of adding a new line, you can just go into connect, which is much better in this case, and you can just see that you can define the amount of things, or you can also just move it. This was a mistake, something we don't need right now. This is also an option which is quite handy. And if I just go back again into my polygon, you just see that this is polygon number 1, this is polygon number 2. Already quite nice. And before we go one step further, I want to do very few more things. I just select these polygons and turn around and just select the other two polygons like this. And there is one more function which I also use in Animate. And this function is my Bevel. And Bevel is a little bit like extrude, but there's something on top that you can also extend or scale the top of the surface. Okay, just say 3 and 8. Now turn it around and you can just see that the same happened on the other side. Now that I put a little bit of effort into my 3D model, it definitely makes sense to save my file, and it's also important that you save different kind of versions, and I just call it DE3 test 0.1, and probably every 20 minutes I save a new version so I don't lose anything. Okay, I just renamed this and just call it edit poly Bevel, and I close my edit poly. And to be honest, it looks really boring. There's nothing special about this model, but this is a good starting point for freeform modeling with open subdivision, because this is really based on really simple boxy objects. And to show you how this works as a really quick start, I just go into my modifier tab and I just use my open sub modifier. I just put my open sub modifier on top, and then it already looks like this. Quite interesting. And here I have my isoline display. And if I just switch this off, you can see the amount of polygons. And if I increase my iterations, then you can see that it already starts to be a little bit of something. I just switch it off again, and it's still not great, but it's worth working on this. And you can do a lot in OpenSub, and please watch my video about open subdivision. Really easy and really nice way of designing organic objects. And now I can still again go into my structure of 3D Studio, and I can go into my settings and can change these parameters however I want this. And I can just also go now into my inset. Probably I should turn it a little bit so you can see this better. We have this inset. Yes, no problem about this. I just go into my settings, and you can see that this also has an impact. If you only want to see everything until this step, then you just go into show end wizard toggle off, and then you're at the point exactly until here. And if you want to see the functions on top, then you just switch it on again. This is probably also a good way of how to control your 3D object. If you want to use this model for digital fabrication and you don't want to use it for 3D printing, for example, you want to use it for the laser cutter, or probably also abstract it to planar surfaces, then you can just see that this amount of polygons is just too much, and we want to reduce the amount of polygons. There are different kind of ways of how to do this. One handy way is to use another modifier, the multi-resolution modifier. By the way, you can also just click the X and just enter multi and then R, and then you already have your multi-resolution modifier. You just go into generate. We got it, and then you see the amount of vertices is 100%. Vertices is the smallest unit. You have 4,512 vertices, and if you reduce it, you can just see what is happening, and it just collapsing to a 3D model with less polygons, and this is something which is then already printable, or it's you can use it for laser cutting, or also for CNC milling. Just play a little bit with the setting at the point where I think this is fine. Oh, really simple is also quite good. And so far 3D Studio starts to do it completely smooth. Everything should look smooth, and if you have 2007 installed, 2017 3D Studio, then you can go into edges, and this says, say you want to have it as a facet look, and then you can see your triangle surfaces like this. As an alternative way, you can also just say you put an edit poly on top, you go into modifier tab, you select all edges, I did it right now, and you just go into edit edges settings, and you just change from smooth to hard. This is more or less quite similar result, and here you can also see your polygons, and this is something you can build with Power 3D and use it for CNC and laser cutting. You can still change the topology. What you can, for example, do is you can just add a tessellation modifier on top. I just enter TESS, and then you already have a tessellation modifier selected. And I just put it on top on my edit poly because I want to see the clear edges, and you can see that here different kind of settings. These are polygons with based on quad surfaces. These are polygons based on triangles. Tension should be always 0, and then you can change the settings. The only thing you have to be aware of that polygons not always have to be planar. So if you print this at the end of the day, these are two surfaces, so you are limited in what you do with this method, but you can already see that this looks different, and it's also an interesting result, but I think the tessellation is too high. We have too many elements, so I just go into my open sub and I change my iterations, and I just go into my multi-resolution again, and here I just generate it, and like this it looks better. And if I go up again and into my tessellation, let's see how we do it. I just play a little bit with my settings, probably also with my inset, and then I'm already quite happy with my result. With Power 3D Disassemble, we would be able to build this. We look at this in another video. The last thing I just do is I just deselect my isolate selection toggle. I just go into my maximize viewport toggle. Here on the right side I can see my 3D model, and I just turn it a little bit, somewhere like this, and I just give my model a nice material. I just open my material browser, and there's only one material, this orange material, which I can use. I just say assign material to selection with my button, or just drag and drop it on my model. It's also something I can do. And I just take my model, move it to the left, and I hold my shift key and leave my mouse until here and just say copy, and I want to have three copies. And the first thing I do is with this one I just switch off all my modifiers. So this is the starting point. The next thing I just switch off everything until my this looks really ugly. Until my bridge. The next one I just switch off my multi-resolution and adjust my camera a little bit, and here we go. We just make a visualization out of this, and we did it. Okay, visualization, render setup, and the size 1600 900 is quite big. I'm pretty sure about that the result will be fine. I just make one this size, and we have to wait some seconds. Yeah, and that's it. This is my little box. This is my OpenSub, which is a really smart, nice and smooth object, but I can only build it in my 3D printer. This is something which I can also build in CNC and laser cutting, and thanks for watching.